What's up, guys? Welcome back to Will of DDT. My name is Irrelevant, and today we've got, without a doubt, the best way to play red-green in One Piece. Monkey D. Luffy. But no, for real, guys, this deck isn't a tier 1 deck by any means, but it is a different way to play red-green in One Piece. It's a lot of fun, and if you pilot it correctly, it can take your opponent by surprise and net you some wins. So the deck revolves around using Supernova units and Straw Hats, and then using Leader Luffy's ability to let them attack twice. You attack with them, and then for Dawn, you set them as active again, and then swing again. And this applies a lot of pressure on your opponent. We've got a lot of rush units. Sneak peek, there's some double attack shenanigans in there, and this deck is super fun to play. So let's get into it and start with probably the best card in the deck, and that's Jewelry Bonnie. The whole deck revolves around this card. If you don't know what she does, for one Dawn, she can search Supernovas on the top 5 of your deck, and you can add that card to your hand. Supernovas are completely filled in this deck, and you will have no problem finding them. And the deck without this card is honestly a brick sometimes. That's the only main critique about it. But if you do find this, I have literally won a couple games strictly just because I got this card in my starting hand. So Jewelry Bonnie, a must-have. And then the next guys we have are our one Dawn blockers. We got our Tony Chopper, and then I'm not even gonna pretend to pronounce it, Gang Beige. So these guys, not much to say here. Low cost, 1 mana, or 1 Dawn rather, blockers. One good thing to note, this guy is a Supernova and is searchable by Bonnie. Chopper is not, but the fact that it's just 1 Dawn, you can't skip it. It's just too good not to have. The other 1-drops we got are the 4 Otamas. Not a Supernova, not a Straw Hat, just a good card. 2k counter, and once it's played, it gives one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 during this turn. If you're not familiar with red, they have this one card called Gum Gum Pistol, which will literally cause your opponent to cry. And this card just helps facilitate that because Gum Gum Pistol destroys something 6,000 power or less, and this card just lets you immediately just annihilate 8,000 power cards. Next up, 3 more blockers. We have the 2 mana killer. This card is good. It's a Supernova, searchable, first of all, and also just in some niche situations, you can throw a Dawn on it and it'll let you draw an extra card. I don't generally use that second ability too much. I don't really run into a situation where that happens, but the fact that this is searchable by Bonnie, absolute must-have, and you probably can run 4 if you want as well. Next up, we got 4 of Brook. Just a good card. 2k counter, and sneak peek, we're going to be running 8-drop Kid, and this card with 8-drop Kid is really good, and will just net you its ability, the 8-drop Kid's ability, for free. So 4 of Brook, really sick card, really important, really clutch. Now, probably this card is definitely a card in the deck. I'm not gonna lie, when I started making this deck, it revolved around this double attack Kid. And I fell into a deep depression very quickly after I realized Diablo Jambe does not include Supernovas or Kid Pirates and is only for Straw Hats. But this card is still pretty good. What the best thing you can do in this deck easily is attack with this Kid, double attack, and then use your leader ability, set it as active again, and attack again. And if that hits, you can retire, you can rip all your copies up, it's done its job, you're good to go. That's the purpose of this deck, and you fulfilled it. But 99% of the time, that's not gonna work, so you have this guy. 3-drop Zoro. This card is absolutely broken. You just throw it down, and I mean, might as well just drop it down like this, because he is going to be swinging, And once again, this guy is a Supernova, theme of the video, and he can be rallied or set as active by your leader as well. Really sick card to have. The fact that it's searchable by Bonnie is a really good ability. All right, next up, maybe a surprise, but if you know, you know, we run 2 5-drop X-Drakes. This guy is a Supernova and honestly might single-handedly win you the blue matchup. If you don't know, blue Doflamingo leader, its ability lets you summon a 4-drop card from the top of your deck onto the field. The key is it's rested. And if you see the ability of X-Drake, it's KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4. I swear the creators of this game created this card literally to mess with Doflamingo. So this card is really good. It's a Supernova, so it can be used by Luffy's ability. 1k counter, so it's not dead in your hand. Just a good 2-of to have if you do run into that matchup. And this card is honestly solid in every matchup, unless you're playing purple. And in that case, just go ahead and shake your opponent's hand and just go home. But what will help you against purple is this card. 3 of 5-drop Luffy. And less of, but he can come in clutch, 2 of Basil Hawkins. Basil Hawkins, first off, is absolutely nutty against in that blue matchup and also against red-green Law. This card single-handedly lets you attack twice by its own ability. It's a Supernova, so it could be used by your leader, and it swings for 7k every time. It applies so much pressure. The only downside about it is if you are getting rushed down, you probably don't have time to actually get this guy going. He doesn't have a counter on him, so he's a pretty dead card in your hand. Luffy, on the other hand, is absolutely beyond broken. This card is absolutely insane. Not only is it a Supernova, it can be used by your leader Luffy's ability and searched by Bonnie. This card looks at your blockers or opponent's blockers, laughs in their face, and smacks face for like 8,000 every time. And once again, because of your leader, he can smack face 2 times in a turn. The fact that it has rush just lets you come back in those games where you are getting rushed down by red and gives you a fighting chance. Now, for a card that I honestly am still not sure how many to run, how many not to run, 2 Laws, 5-drop Laws. If you don't know what this card does, once you drop it, it sets one of your Supernova characters with 5 or less as active, so pretty much follows the theme of this deck and what it's trying to do. At the same time, however, it also gives you a 6k body that you can use next turn. This card honestly comes in clutch sometimes, but at the same time, why I mention ratios is sometimes I just don't want to spend 5 Dawn to set a card active when I already have the leader Luffy available that does that for 4 Dawn. But that's one card that I'm honestly not too sure, and you can probably play around with. I would not go more than 2, but you definitely need at least 1 because this card has definitely won me a game or 2. Next up, we have 1 7-drop kid, 1 8-drop kid. This 8-drop kid is a crazy card. The only reason I don't run 2 of them is because effectively, unless you have Brook in your hand, this is a 9 mana or 9 Dawn play. This 7-drop kid exists because it's pretty much a cheaper option. And if you are getting rushed down, you just need something on the board to last you another turn. So these guys exist. They're really, really good cards. And play around with the ratios. Maybe play 2 of these kids, none of these. Your life, do whatever you want. I'm just here to give you guys a guide. This card is absolutely insane. I have converted nations to this card. If you don't know, these dual colored leaders, they only have 4 HP. Radical Beam gives you 4,000 power as a counter if you have 2 or less life. Now, just by having 4, your chances of meeting that requirement go up by a lot. And this is such an efficient card for 1 Dawn. It's an easy 4 of in this deck. And I think people definitely should be looking into it if you are playing dual colored and you have the option to run red. Next up, 1 of Gum Gum Fire Pistol Redhawk. Really good card. I wish I ran 2. Don't know what to take out to put in. This card will just immediately destroy one of your opponent's blockers if they have them. Maybe a key card, 4,000 or less power. 2 Dawn, the only reason it's at 1 is it's 2 Dawn, and a lot of times in this deck, you just don't have a lot of spare Dawn to play around with. That's why it's a 1 of. What I do run, you don't really have a choice of, is 4 Gum Gum Jet Pistols. This card is beyond broken, and the only reason I don't run 4 of them is just for fun. I run 1 Round Table because this card has saved me once or twice, and I never go home without it. It's the only chance you have against purple, really, if they drop a Kaido. And that's enough about Round Table. Jet Pistol, if you know, you know. It's a trigger, beyond crazy trigger, and KO one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less for 4 Dawn. So this is an absolute must. You must have this, and this card, again, will win you those matches against green and blue. Theme of the deck, again, does nothing against purple. So that's the deck, guys. The game plan is to use your blockers to keep your head above water until you can get one of your 5-drop Supernovas on the board to abuse Leader Luffy's ability. Everything you see in the middle row is probably one of the targets you want to use his ability on to get the most out of it. Thank you again for checking this deck profile out. Please let me know what you guys think. What would you remove? What would you add? If you like what you saw and you want to see more, please like and subscribe and let us know what you want to see next time in the comments. Thanks again, and see you guys next time.